Live, live, live. Here's a page from our upcoming issue of the Geb comic. Yo, Fritz, you got something to add? Certainly. So-called environmental consciousness amounts to little more than egoic self-importance. As that most lucid of American philosophers put it, environmentalists don't give a shit about the planet. You know what they're interested in? A clean place to live. Their own habitat. Narrow, unenlightened self-interest doesn't impress me. Besides, there's nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Which I maintain is no reason for concern. George Carlin, nice one. Good on you for cutting through the crapola on YouTube and finding the good stuff. Indeed. So this is our Nietzsche clone. He's skinnier than the real Nietzsche. Better cheekbones. Alrighty. So let's close that. Actually, we're not going to be in... Oops. Close that. Close that. Start fresco. All right, let's all look at Ahsoka Tano for a moment, and while I go fetch my coffee. Alrighty, let's get the chat going. Will anybody be in the chat already? What do you think? Oh, I can't hear you because I'm not wearing my headphones. There we go. One person watching, I guess that's you. Good morning, everybody. Okay. So you don't have to hang out on this until midnight. You can check out whenever you want. Oh, I want you to be here, but you don't have to be. You don't have to stay up late. Let's see. So let's go. Create screen size. Come on. There we go. Let's go with blue. As in Blue Velvet. Have you seen the movie Blue Velvet? No? Oh. It's a David Lynch film. Let's see. Just the color blue got me singing the song. She wore blue velvet, which features heavily in that film, I think. It's been forever since I've seen the movie. Alrighty. What am I... the 90s, I think. Alexa, when did the movie Blue Velvet come out?
The film Blue Velvet was released about 34 years ago on September 19th, 1986.
86, wow, okay. That's the year I graduated from high school. Yeah. Yeah. Alexa, stop. What'd you say? Yes. Yeah. What am I doing? The first one, like 76 or 77. Alexa, when was The Godfather released?
The book The Godfather was published about 51 years ago on March 10, 1969. The film adaptation was released on March 24, 1972.
Ooh, 72. All right. Way back. Godfather. Yep. He's the baby of the family, the civilian, the one who's not in the game. Until the end, when he is. Oh yeah, I remember Al Pacino from the 70s. Dog Day Afternoon. Did you see that film? No. So who are the big famous mafia bosses that you studied? No? Right. Did you watch any of the sequels? Mm-hmm. Not a good sign. Alrighty. Still nothing in the chat, although there are a couple other people watching now. And yeah, we're talking. I don't have a gradient tool in this program, do I? Okay, no problem. No problem. Interesting. There we go. No? Alrighty. What shall we talk about? We can talk about the beautiful blue sky. When you see a sunny day, you expect it to be warm. You'll have to be here for a little while before you begin to understand that in the wintertime, blue sky means cold day, because the clouds trap the heat. And a clear sky lets the snow reflect the sunlight right back out again. What'd you say? My voice is distorted, huh? I think I might be having some internet issues today. We'll see. All right. Well, this is just... Hey! Hey, Ed. All right. We're going to start the proper work here in just a minute. I'm just kind of screwing around in Fresco right now. Just making shapes. What's up with you, Ed? What is going on this morning? We're supposed to have a high of 60-something degrees today here in Bellows Falls, which is pretty nice compared to recent days. How's Montreal? Alexa, what's the temperature in Montreal?
Right now, in Montreal, Canada, it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh.
Today, expect a high of 61 degrees. Happy Thursday.
Thank you. 19C. Yep, here too. Barky, barky. Cooper defending the homestead. Oh, it's nighttime. Huh? What's up with that? Your power's on. Look at this. Yeah, here too. Well, we have not had a proper snow here yet. She says no, she's never been outside of Asia. You've been to Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. Have you been to Thailand? No, not Thailand. Vietnam. Okay. No. Rose, what's the coldest temperature you think you've experienced in person? (18 degrees Celsius is the how much? Maybe 15. And where would that have been? In Indonesia. Okay. So New England will be quite a shock. Let's see. I'm talking. I'm sort of laughing with Ed. Oh, I said New England will be quite a shock. She just has. Yes. Yeah. You have no You have no experience or intuitive reference to understand what like negative 30 feels like. Mm-hmm. What would you guess? Ah. So Rose is remembering one experience now where she thinks it might have gotten down to around 10 degrees Celsius. Alexa, what is 10 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
10 degrees Celsius is 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Uh-huh. That's what it is right now outside here. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 66 degrees.
Alexa, what's the temperature in Celsius?
Right now, it's 7 degrees Celsius. Today, expect a high of 18 degrees.
Oh. Oh, that's interesting, Ed, and it makes sense. Makes good sense. So what happens to whoops. Okay. All right. What was the name of the town? Ed, do you know Whitehorse, British Columbia? Oh, it's not. It's actually not in British Columbia. It's in the Yukon Territory. Let's see. Whitehorse, Yukon Territory. Rose was offered a job there and almost took it. That would have been quite the shock. Not just the cold, but the lack of light in the wintertime. Pretty hard to deal with. So Whitehorse, let's see. Let's just go to Google Maps. Ed, how would you describe Whitehorse? Well, I think it is properly in the Arctic, yeah. Let's see. Seasonal affective disorder. So it's like it's like depression that comes with a lack of light. All right, so can you see the map on screen here? Here's yeah. But look over here at the map. Here's Whitehorse. Whitehorse is just a little bit south of Anchorage, Alaska. Yeah. When I was in Alaska, I was down here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sure you were. Yeah, before they let you down to the nice places. So Rose is saying that she had been offered an immigrant visa, but, because it would be tied to her job there, she'd have to stay in Whitehorse for quite some time before she could, be released to go elsewhere. Here we are. So when I worked in Alaska, whoops, let's see, how can I do this? When I worked in Alaska, we were long lining for cod out here in the Bering Sea, and then we would go back to Dutch Harbor, Alaska, which is here, to unload the catch and get more fuel and food and stuff. But that was my life, just out here in the Bering Sea in the cold, just getting seasick, dehydrated, miserable, working 19 hours a day. That was a harsh time. It would kill me if I tried to do it now. Oh yeah, very physical. So I've wandered away from the chat. Let's get back to it. Oh. Rose says, "Oh." Oh. Yeah. I've lost the chat. Let's see. Back. Yeah, sort of. They have the Alaska Fund, so they took a bunch of oil money and they bought a stock portfolio that pays dividends, and every year they distribute the dividends to all the Alaskans, but it's like $2,000 per person. It's not enough to live on. I didn't understand what you said, and I'm trying to find the chat again. I think I'm going to have to go to Restream to get it. I closed that tab accidentally. Chat app. Yep, that's the Philippines' prime export is Filipinos and Filipinas to work. Well, there is no American equivalent to the Philippine acronym of OFW. Most Americans never leave the United States, never get a passport. Whereas in the Philippines, lots of people go overseas to work. All right. So this is tedious, but I don't remember the dimensions of the comic pages, so what I do is I just open an old one and I delete most of it, and save it under a new file name. What am I doing here? Delete. And yeah, that one too. Delete. And he has, yes. Yes, Ed, Rose is asking if you've traveled to any Asian countries, and I know the answer, but why don't you inform her? So now, I am, yeah. I got a lot of work to get through, so I've got to get to it. Oh no. I think I'm going to have to go and open... But more than that, more recently than that, I mean, more significantly, Ed has oh, nice. I don't think I knew that. All right. So let's... Baha'i. Baha'i is how it's pronounced, yeah. Then I studied Mandarin Chinese in Beijing for 1 year. So he's coming up on the really important stuff. He hasn't gotten there yet. Spoiler alert, it ends with a daughter. Love, I can't hear you. I don't have the headphones on. I have to jump up here again in a second. There we go. The Beer City. Oh. Oh, you took Jadzia to China. I didn't know that. Or if you told me in the past, I had forgotten. Okay, now. Let's see. Well, import image. Oh, I need to start segmenting this into folders. Where did I put that? There. Ed, how are your Mandarin language skills? Yeah, that looks about right. A little smaller. Okay. All right. Better than my Japanese. No, way better than my Spanish. All right, so here's our base, like the rough layer. In fact, I'm going to call it rough. Hey, Les. Lol, the way Kamo says Jadzia would phonetically be spelled. Uh-huh. Well, she's named after the Deep Space Nine character, so that's just how I'm saying it. But I don't know how that's pronounced. Okay, so opacity down, down, down. And what? I'm creating a layer here. What's it called? What do you think? Yes, you're correct. It is sketch. Oh, right. Because you're... And it's not a real-time... Not a real-time... what's the word I'm looking for? I know. Yeah. Alright, so I like giving bigger cheeks. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, there's a clone of Friedrich Nietzsche at the base. Yes. There have been many clones of Friedrich Nietzsche there over the years, and Joyce has killed them all because they annoy her. So, this one... because he's very self-important and arrogant, and he's always pointing out her personal inadequacies, and she doesn't respond well. So, he's basically human. Oh, no, she's not. No. But Mama Shug has been reformatting Joyce's brain. Not reformatting, but, changing it. Reforming it. Trying to give her the full range of human emotional capacities, including the capacity for empathy. And so far, it just hasn't stuck. It hasn't worked. Mm-hmm. All right. So Nietzsche, through most of his life, he had a what we would consider to be a very large mustache, like a biker mustache or something. But toward the end of his life, he was an invalid. He'd had some sort of like a stroke or something, and his sister was taking care of him, and she sort of treated him like a sideshow or something. Like, he was just starting to get famous there toward the end of his life, and people wanted to come and see the famous philosopher, but by that time he'd lost it. He was out of it. And his sister let his mustache get huge, like, this big. All right. And worse than that, his sister and her husband were anti-Semites, and they rewrote some of Nietzsche's books to make it sound like he supported their hatred of Jews, which he did not. Yeah. You don't want me to grow one like that? Are you sure? I'm not the least bit tempted. Fear not. Let's see. What am I doing? Okay, gonna preserve the chat. Hey, Rodney. All right, let's look at a few pictures of Nietzsche here. So here he is, like in his younger days. That's it's a pretty big mustache, but still respectable. But then as he got older, it got bigger and bigger. And here he is toward the end. That's his sister. And look at that. That's just ridiculous. Yeah. No, me neither. Right here, this one. Very famous image of Nietzsche. All right. But I really wanted to look at images of Nietzsche because he always did weird things with his hair. Like, look at this one. It's like, yeah, these are all real portraits of him. Except, I think this looks like a modern actor portraying him. But I usually do something like this for his hair in the strip. Just this weird sort of curly mass on top there, this wave that he combs into it. Anyway. Yeah, me too. All right. So, what are we going to do with the hair here? First, let's just draw the head without the hair. And we do more part over on that side, so this is all going to come up here. I can tell you the men in the chat would love to hear this part, but oh, yeah, I should look at the chat again. What am I doing? Okay. Please excuse me. Let me savor your apology and take a moment to decide if I should accept it. Apo, after, logos, words. So apology just means after words. The riddle is called What Am I? Uh-oh, new riddle. If you say I apologize, you are just saying I say words after the event. Atlas, I'm already Googling it. There are many What Am I themed riddles. I will Google the keywords from the next parts of the riddle that you write out. So, yes, Ed is going to cheat. Going to cheat at the game of riddles. If only Bilbo Baggins had had a smartphone in his pocket. Well, he probably wouldn't have had any reception down there in the cave doing his riddle game with Schmeagol. I don't know why I've given him such big eyebrow or big eyelashes. I won't keep that when I get to the inking stage. All right, now, yeah, the more interesting frame is going to be down here, and Steve reading aloud from a book by Nietzsche to the Greys. So let's move Steve. Oops. Let's move him. Oh, I have to rasterize this, don't I? Yep. Now we can move him over there. Okay. See, I don't know, like, somebody else. I never write the dialogue for Nietzsche in this strip. Somebody else writes it. So she's going to pick out a quote from one of his books that I'm going to put up here, and then it's going to end in Steve's dialogue balloon. He's reading Nietzsche to the Greys here, teaching them the need to love their fate, because their fate is a pretty shitty one, as is Steve's. Yeah, fate. F-A-T-E. Fate. Amor fati. Love your fate. All right. Alrighty, so the Greys. They're just sitting on the ground, listening to Steve read to them. Hands in their laps. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting question. I do not know. Let's see. Let's. Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have the spare cognitive bandwidth to pursue that. Yes, cheating. All right. There we go. Yeah, that's about how many words will fit in that space. So I asked for a quote, a Nietzsche quote of about that length. So somebody else is going to pick it out. So when it was not my idea to include Friedrich Nietzsche in the comic, and the person, who wanted to include him is the one paying the bill, so, it gets in there. But he really admires Friedrich Nietzsche. And I tried to explain at the time, it's like, Friedrich Nietzsche is a super arrogant man, very self-important. And in a comedy, the self-important person becomes the object of ridicule. That's just how comedy works. You can't be pompous and self-important and be safe in a comic strip or, a comedy. But he didn't really understand that, I don't think, at the time. And he was not very happy of how the other characters treated Nietzsche. So Nietzsche has always been a source of tension in the comic, behind the scenes. Weed. Marijuana to break up those thought processes. Force yourself to take a break. Seriously. If you're obsessing over stuff, marijuana can help. So the fun thing about the grays is once you get the oblong head and the oblong eyes in, you don't really need anything else. That just reads as a gray. The grays, yeah, definitely. In fact, here, let me show you a little trick. Let's grab a figure ruler. We'll make it a circle. We'll constrain it so it'll be a perfect circle. All right, so for super intelligent people, yeah, I don't really have any other advice. Let's see, how's that work? I am not. Actually, yeah, it doesn't clearly mean that. Could be that I'm repeating after somebody else, which in this case I am. Dmitry Orlov. Well, yeah. Some application for that high cognitive capacity. Like writing, painting, oration. So let's just drop. There we go. Just a circle with a little oblong extension for the face, and then you can use the circle to define the shape of the eyes there, and there you go. There's your alien head. Very little detail required. All right. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? There we go. So, there. Okay. Somebody what? But as the famous... Yes. So did you get my other riddle the last day by consulting Google, Ed? Yes. If people don't ask to hear a riddle, you can't be real touchy about what they do to answer it. Could be. So this one. Oh, sure. A piece of paper. Oh. Go ahead, say it to me. I did. All right. Yes. Looks like Biden's going to win. They haven't counted all the votes yet, but yep. Well, that much is definitely true. He nearly won. And, if they discover that there's been some improper voting or counting or something in one of the states that Biden seems to have won, Trump might yet win in the courtroom. We'll see. Yes, it's almost certain that Biden's going to win. Huh. Good on you. Good for you, Ed. Debacle. Yeah. Debacle is like a snafu. Yeah, but he can vow victory all he wants. I think he's out of touch with reality at this point. Yeah. Basically, the markets are happy that the White House will be controlled by one party, the Congress will be controlled by the other party, and nothing will get done, and they can just run riot. They can do anything they want, and there's not anybody who's going to challenge them or try to rein in their excesses. Yes. Yeah. It's called gridlock. Huh. You might think that Joyce would be the hardest character to draw, and for me, it really is Steve. Steve is the hardest character for me to draw. Yeah. Well, Derek is the easiest. I mean, boom. There he is. There's Derek. Yeah, he's super easy. Her head tails, the tentacles on her head. That's the hardest part. I mean, other than that, she's just a human woman, and I've been drawing human women for decades. So. I have to remind myself not to just make her into a generic hot chick. She's got to have some flaws. So she's got fat like under her jowls, and she's got a more prominent chin than in a square chin than I think most women would want. So the challenge is just to draw her like a generic pretty woman. All right. There we go. And the reason that yeah. I think both sides have given up playing fair. It's just a struggle for power now. Would you say, Rose? Probably some sort of cheating going on. Yeah, not just the Philippines. A lot of places. A lot of places are like that. Yeah, but then how does the Central American countries are famous for vote buying to the point where clergy, like pastors and priests and stuff will tell people, if somebody offers to buy your vote, go ahead and take the money and then vote however you want to. Vote your conscience. But take the money. What's that you're easy to draw? Let's see. Yeah, I get that. Les wants to be a challenge. He doesn't want to make it easy for anybody. Yeah, beautiful people are easier to draw. Mostly because that's what most young artists practice on. Who wants to draw an ugly person? I want to draw my idealized self, Oh, for life drawing, I've drawn some really unappealing people in life drawing classes, but that's sometimes more interesting. To draw somebody who's really fat or out of shape, or there's, you have to look at the model more when they look like that. You can't just draw from what you know about idealized proportions. All right, let's see. Yep. OC stands for original character. Let's see. There. What's up? Anyone can be a superhero. Why is that in quotes? That's the flavor of the day, Rodney. There are some woke comic characters that have emerged recently. Oh, yeah. I mean, at Marvel, they've all gone woke. And yet, the people that ideology appeals to don't buy a lot of comics, not like the old fanboy community. But Marvel Comics don't have to make money by themselves anymore now. They're just sort of a, developmental cradle for MCU properties. The money comes from the movies. Yeah, another indication of a nose. New Warriors. Was that the one with the Safe Place and Snowflake, was it? There was a Marvel comic that... Yeah. Yes. Alright, let's move this gray down. Well, I can't claim to have read any of them, so I can't say that I agree or disagree. Oh, come on. Making it real small. Yes. Let's see. Images, please. Here we go. There you go. Snowflake and Safe Space. Joe Rogan reacts. Well, y'all can listen to that on your own. I can't get the copyright notification. Well, I suppose I could. It doesn't hurt me, but I don't like to get those emails from Facebook, not Facebook, from YouTube saying, hey, naughty, use somebody else's material. All right, is Snowflake an actual? Yes. DC made Dr. Endless. I Googled that. All right, so back to work. Alrighty, so let's go to our background. And I'm going to do some super simple perspective here. Let's extend this. Wow, Cooper's really agitated about something. Let's put our vanishing points way, way out to the side, like as far out as I can get them. And oh, there must be. There must be such an emoji. Huh. I'm shocked to learn that there is no barfing emoji. I do not know of Dr. Endless. Oh, come on. Huh. You know what? I'm just going to have to fake all this perspective to really make it look convincing. I'd have to put the vanishing points way outside the image, and as far as I know, Clip Studio Paint doesn't let me do that. So we're just going to fake it. What is that? Yeah, and if there's no official emoji for it, you're not allowed to express it. Beats the heck out of Newspeak. That's okay, so I've drawn this spaceship in the background here, but it's going to be almost entirely covered by his dialogue balloon, which is going to be like there. That was not a good use of my time and attention. What'd you say? Hi. Great what? I just didn't understand the word. It was very muffled. What'd you say? Oh, okay. Great work. Thank you. Work was the word I couldn't make out. All right. What else is going on here in the background? A door back here. All right. Well, I think that's good enough. Let's. Therefore, it is illegal. Alrighty. I think I can move Steve even closer to the side. Oh, thought I was making a selection. Really, I was just drawing a halo. Let's try this again. Steve, you're going to move even further over here. Room for the dialogue balloon. There we are. Background sketch. We'll move the spaceship. Move it over as well. Okay. Ah, now I hear a rooster. Yeah, you get all the animal life forms going. Oh, wrong layer. Haven't heard the gecko yet today. You said you didn't quite hear me? Oh, he's been quiet lately. Gotcha. Thank you for reminding me that Steve does have a buddy. Like one of the Greys, Joyce chopped his arm off, and Steve made a mechanical arm for him, and he calls that one Lefty. So I think I'm going to make this one Lefty. So Lefty. Now I have to go find it. I forget what Lefty's mechanical arm looks like, so let's find it. Well, thanks to John Wilkes Booth, Abraham Lincoln didn't really get to oversee the Reconstruction period. Just open. Let's see. Where does Joyce... Yes. Yes. Of course. Let's see. All right, Rose is gone. So I will have to remember to look over at the chat from time to time. Right now I'm trying to find the strip where Steve fixes Lefty's arm. So it's going to be here. There we go. Okay. That's right. Yeah, it's kind of modeled after Rick Sanchez's replacement mechanical arm. Okay. Got it. Got it. Darker color to really get that. And how about a smaller pencil? Zoom in on. I'm on the wrong layer, thanks. So this is Lefty. All right, let's get the chat back up. What do we got going on? So my curiosity was piqued. I studied this matter. What are we talking about? Rooster is descendant of red jungle fowl of Vietnam. Yes, Ed, but what came before the jungle fowl? Another jungle fowl or an egg? It is because of jungle fowl relationship with bamboo's flowering cycle that hens constantly produce eggs. Oh, that's interesting. I studied this matter and went down a major rabbit hole. That, Ed, I did not know. My curiosity was piqued. Bamboo seems to be a keystone species in Asia. Why do chickens constantly lay eggs? Yes, they could also be deployed as a useful sequesterer of carbon. Yeah, because it grows quickly. You could make biochar out of bamboo. They are an element in my Save the World plan. Carbon is already sequestered in plant matter. The more carbon that gives into the atmosphere, the faster plants grow. Some plants sequester more carbon annually than others. It's a perfect cycle, says Les. Which plant or plant-like organism sequesters the most carbon? Good question. And is it even a plant, or is it plankton? Is plankton the best, naturally occurring carbon sink? I don't know. I do not know. Alrighty. I wouldn't have remembered to include Lefty if I hadn't been just chatting here. Okay. Let's get some ink. Ink. I'm not talking about tattoos. Layer, new layer, vector layer, character, ink. Alrighty. G pen, 15? No, let's go a little bigger, 17. Yeah. Alrighty, let's turn this layer down. Good. Turn that layer off. Let's get to inking. Nope, let's ink on the proper layer though. There we are. What's going on? I'm not using black. Let's try again. Alright, there we go. Actually, let's do this. Nope. All right. Go. All right. Oh my goodness. What's all this then? Wow. Okay. It's a perfect cycle. Which plant or plant-like organism sequesters the most carbon? Correct, KMO. Kelp, says Ed. Algae, says Les. I prefer zooplankton. Ed says, because it sinks to the ocean floor as marine snow. Plankton eat algae, and plankton are animals, but close enough. Making chalk. See White Cliffs of Dover. Plankton and algae are similar sized. I was going for a size answer. But those die and decay and re-release their carbon to the environment. Well, the plankton either gets eaten by larger critters, which then die and sink to the bottom, or it just dies and sinks to the bottom on its own. And I think it gets sequestered down there. I mean, eventually it turns into things like coal and oil. But those die and decay and re-release their carbon to the environment. Ed, how much of the atmosphere is composed of carbon? Please don't check Google. Well, I think right now we're at about, 300 parts per million? That's a pretty small... if you express it as a percentage, it's going to be a tiny, tiny percentage. I do not know. What percentage, Ed? Take a guess. No Google cheating. Well, it seems like it's an important gas. Please just tell me it's a more elegant process than me guessing. The point is you have to guess. Lessig, 50%? 5%? Oh, I'm thinking it's way less than 1%. My point is that the guessing thing is dorky and inelegant and without merit. Think of it as an experiment in human understanding. Maybe it is old world versus new world cultural difference, or relevant or not so relevant issues. No, you're being obstinate. If you do that in a business meeting, you will not get a promotion. Not an issue, not looking for work. You must present the information, not make people guess. Why are you so intransigent, Ed? My presentation of the information is predicated on you guessing. 300 parts per million. Okay, but what is that as a percentage? Who can do that math? All right. I'm going to see if I have any more coffee left. I think I might have an empty pot waiting for me. Let's see. Oh, almost empty. All right. Final splash. There's not even enough to really be able to add sweetener or milk. Okay, I am caught up in the chat. Back to the inking. That's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. So... Oh, wow. I really missed there, didn't I? Let's see. Redraw vector line. Nope. All right, what a miss. Oh, you're talking about coronavirus now, eh? What do we got? Whoa, okay. Meh, it's just under 0.04%. The point is, carbon is a made-up issue. That would be 400 parts per million. I have a counter to that point, says Ed. Would you care to guess what the counter is? Pollution is real, and I don't like pollution in my city, but carbon is a red herring. As is anthropogenic global warming. Surely, Ed, I could care to guess, unlike you. My guess is that you will make a point that disputes the validity and or veracity of my factoid. You are correct. Yay! See, Ed, if you play the game, everyone wins. It is the drop of ink in the pure glass of water metaphor, or let us say bucket of water. If you put a small drop in a bucket of drinking water, I got a dopamine boost, and you are contented by my continued participation. It will change the nature of the contents of that bucket. If I inhale a minuscule amount of coronavirus, it could have big effects on my body. Okay, by that rationale, Ed, do you believe the Neanderthals' cave fires halted and reversed the Ice Age? So tininess is not a measure of degree of impact, says Ed. Coronavirus is just a bad flu, says Lesick. What about moon landings? Happened? Not a pandemic, and certainly not a reason to shut down the world economy. The effects are delayed. We will see the effects starting next year. You must not go off on tangents. I think moon landings happened, says Leslie. You are changing the subject. All right. Again, I'm caught up. Let's see. Alrighty, this guy. What do we got here? I think moon landings happened. I just counted backwards from 10. I have now refound my center. Ed, I told you before, I was a liberal idiot once when I was young. I believed Al Gore's global warming agenda. Al Gore in Latin means cold, by the way. And he's a cold SOB. But then I did my own research. All right. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I see George Soros mentioned. Alrighty. Here we go. Ed, I told you before I was a liberal idiot once when I was young. I believed in Al Gore's global warming agenda. I like Paul on the road to Damascus. As Bismarck once said, quote, if you're not a liberal when you're young, you have no heart, but if you're not a conservative when you're older, you have no brains, close quote. More people died from suicides in the USA than coronavirus, and the coronavirus counts are cooked. I think... Well, let's see. I don't know where to find suicide statistics for a year that isn't over yet. Alexa, how many people committed suicide in the United States in 2019?
The closest answer I know is from 2016, when the United States' suicide rate was 15.3 suicides per 100,000 people.
Great. You're going to leave me to do the math to figure out what the total is?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure. You're not telling me. All right, never mind. Who is paid? Let's see. How is the situation in Poland? World Health Organization is paid for by the likes of Gates and his buddies. Gates has invested his money in vaccines. Just follow the money, as they say. Is George Soros involved? Poland is a poor country. Kaczynski wants to stay in power, and their IMF is paying him to implement stringent lockdown measures. Lockdown, by the way, is a term first used in prisons. Yeah. I imagine Soros is involved, as is Schwab. Poland seems to have a rich intellectual tradition, says Ed. Les says, unfortunately, Ed, that intellectual tradition has withered and died. World War II really ended in 1989 in Poland. Massive brain drain, and the bright people who are left are trampled over by a corrupt and inadequate system. I'm sorry to hear that, as am I. All right, friends. I need to pay a visit to the small room. I shall return. Here, I'll give you something to listen to while I'm away, something that is copyright free. Let's go to Documents, C-Bone Podcast. This folder is empty. Interesting, because I don't make podcasts on this machine. All right, that's not going to work then. Let's try... All right, how about this? Check this out. I'll go here, and studio. And where's the audio archive? Oh, here we are. Audio library. About this. You know what? We're just 11 minutes from the end of the hour. 12 minutes. I can hold it. Keep working. Any recommendations on a camera for content videos? Well, I can show you the one that I have. Let's see. that's what I have. I think it's a nice balance between affordability and performance. All right, so all right, I meant to do all of that in a different color. So there we go. Oh, tangent. Make it lower, higher, higher. Nope, not that. What do we got here? Great, thanks for the tip. Sorry, delete button is right above the post button, and my thumbs are huge, says Danny. No worries. I saw a film recently with Ethan Hawke, Daybreakers. Yeah, it's the vampire peak oil movie. I really enjoyed it and think it's underrated. I'll check it out, thanks. I'll recommend a Ted Chiang story to you once I find the title. It's Understand. I've heard of Ted Chiang. I have a few short sci-fi stories myself that I'd like to one day put to paper. Perhaps one day. Understand is a short story about a man who is given a drug that makes him super intelligent. Ah, yes. Like Flowers for Algernon. Or what was the more recent movie that got turned into a series? What was that called? Limitless. Yeah. Interesting. Sounds like it starts similar to Flowers for Algernon and then goes in another direction, another complete direction. Yeah. All right. Back to it. All right. So let's start. Up here. Let's start from this side. Oh, wow, it's way up there. Okay. Well, so it goes. So it goes, and then something like that. And then put this one back. And this one. All right. So most of this is going to get cut off, I think. Here's the top of Steve's head. Oh, way down there. Okay, yeah. All right. That was too dark of a shade of gray, but I can easily lighten it once I've got it all filled in here. I liked Ray Bradbury, Herbert, Asimov, Heinlein, Dick, so many. Too many for one life, right? A few Polish good ones too. Lem are good. Yeah, Stanislav Lem. One solace for getting old is that there is a limitless supply of this kind of good things. Lem and I don't know how to pronounce that second one. Ducage. I liked the Heliconian series by Aldous. I have not read that one. I like the Catwoman short on the Batman Year One Blu-ray that I borrowed from the library. I think sci-fi writing is indispensable for creating a future humanity would flourish in. It's the blueprints. I am certainly a lifelong fan of science fiction literature. Some people consider that an oxymoron, but I do not. And the book, the old sci-fi book that to me stands up the best in terms of not having been dated or sort of rendered obsolete or quaint by the passage of time is Blood Music by Greg Bear. I absolutely love that book. I think expressing hopefulness increases the chance of reducing net human suffering. I think expressing cynicism does the opposite. Why do you think that, Ed? What the heck? I see. All right, fellas, it's time for me to take a break. I think because cynicism inculcates a sense of despair. Oh, Les, you should definitely read Blood Music. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. I will talk to you.